Hello everyone, my name is Aisha Habiba and this is my part of presentation. The chapter is chapter 4, the United Nations Centerpiece of Global Governance. The six principal organs of the UN. Number 1, General Assembly. It's the main meeting place where all 193 countries have a voice. Countries discuss global issues, make decisions, approve the UN budget, and choose the UN Secretary General. It's where countries come together to talk about and work on global peace, security, and cooperation. Number 2, Security Council keeps the world safe and peaceful, has 150 members, including 5 permanent ones, US, UK, Russia, China, and France, who can block decisions, can decide on military actions, peacekeeping missions, and economic sanctions to handle conflicts. Number 3, International Court of Justice, ICJ, acts as the UN's court, resolves legal disputes between countries, and offers legal advice on international issues. Number 4, Economic and Social Council manages the UN's work on economic and social issues, works with other agencies like WHO and UNICEF to tackle global problems like poverty, education, and health. Number 5, Secretariat handles the day-to-day operations of the UN leadership, led by the Secretary General, implements the decisions made by the other UN bodies, and manages daily activities. Trusteeship Council was created to help manage territories that were not yet independent, territories that were not yet independent. Now it's no longer active since all territories have gained independence. Why it's important? Understanding these organs and their functions provides insights into how the UN operates and makes decisions on global issues. And this is the source I used to find this information. Moving on, specialized agencies and programs. World Health Organization, WHO, looks for global health, works to prevent and respond to health crises such as diseases and pandemics, and help countries improve their health system. UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, helps children around the world, works on improving child health, education, and protection, and provides emergency aid to children in need. World Bank supports development in poorer countries, gives loans and financial help to countries for building infrastructure such as schools and hospitals and boosting economic growth. International Monetary Fund, IMF, promotes global financial stability, provides financial advice and support to countries facing economic problems, and helps them stabilize their economies. And this is the website I use to gather the information. The International Court of Justice. The ICJ is the principal judicial body of the United Nations. Thinks of it as the UN Supreme Court for international disputes. Its main job is to resolve legal disagreements between countries and offer advice on legal questions. The functions, number 1, resolve disputes. Where two or more countries have a legal disagreement, like a border dispute or a disagreement over a treaty, they can take the issue to the ICJ. For example, if two countries argue about their shared border, they can ask the ICJ to make a legal decision to settle the matter. Number 2, providing advisory options. The ICJ gives advice on legal issues when asked by UN bodies like the General Assembly or other authorized organizations. For example, if the UN wants to know if a new international treaty follows international law, it might ask the ICJ for its option. The major contributors to the UN budget. So this is a bar chart image visualizing show the percentage contributes of each country. So the top contributor, the United States, contributed 22%, like we can see it here, of the total UN regular budget during 2013 to 2015, making it the largest donor. Other specification contributors like Japan, 10.83%, like you can see it here. Germany, France, United Kingdom. Other notable contributors are Canada, Spain, and Brazil. Each contributor is around like 2.9%. This chart illustrates the disparity in contribution to the UN regular budget, with the US being by the far the largest contributor, followed by other major economies like Japan, Germany, and the UK. The UN role in global health. Introduction to global health. UN coordinates global health initiatives and crisis responses. World Health Organization, UN Specialized Agency for Global Health, focuses on public health, health system, and emergency responses. Key initiatives: universal health coverage, access to health service without financial hardship, global vaccine alliance, increases vaccine access in low income countries, the global fund like fights AIDS, TB, and malaria through funding and partnership, emergency response, who manages health crises like COVID-19, providing guidelines, coordinating responses, and facilities vaccine distribution. Global health security. The UN promotes health security to prevent and respond to public health threats, health and sustainable development. Health initiatives are directly linked to the UN Sustainable Development Goal 3. Ensure health lives and promotes well-being for all at all ages. This goal aims to improve health system, reduce inequalities, and ensure access to healthcare services worldwide. The relationship between the UN and ICJ. The function, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, is principal judicial organ of the United Nations, tasked with upholding international law. The role, the ICJ provides legal ruling and advisory opinions that supports and clarify the UN's objectives, such as maintaining peace and resolving disputes. The interaction, the ICJ's decision and opinions contributes to the development of international law and help the UN achieve its mission by offering legal resolution and guidance. Why it's important? Illustrates the law of international role of international law in the UN system and how legal decisions supports global governance. Conclusion. The United Nations is very important for sustainable global challenges. It has different parts like the General Assembly, Security Council, International Court of Justice, and the Secretary, each with specific jobs. This include keeping peace, making legal decisions, and coordinating global effects. However, the UN faces some problems. It's often works slowly, struggles with uneven funding, and has representations issues where some countries have more says than the others. These challenges can make it harder for the UN to respond to global needs effectively. The UN also works with specialized agencies and regional organizations which help it have a bigger impact. To more effective, the UN needs to improve how it operates, how it gets funding, and how it represents all countries fairly. These changes are necessary so the UN can continue to support peace, development, and human rights around the world. Oops. And I also want to share a video. key. Okay, got it. So the video right here, which can explain more into depth.
The Second World War caused enormous destruction and left large parts of the world in ruins. That's why the United Nations was established with one main target, to prevent war in the future. To prevent war, the UN is a meeting point where leaders from all around the world can interact. In the UN, countries try to agree on which rules and agreements should apply in the world. The most important topics of discussion in the UN are peace and security, human rights, and sustainable development. The Sustainable Development Goals is the United Nations global agenda to end poverty, fight inequality, and combat climate change by 2030. There are 17 goals and 169 targets. The agenda serves as a joint roadmap for all the countries in the world. One of the main principles of the Sustainable Development Goals is to leave no one behind. The most vulnerable should be given priority. In the UN General Assembly, all countries, small and large, have one vote and the same say. All member states are committed to follow the Constitution of the United Nations, the UN Charter, where peace and human rights are central topics. The most powerful organ of the UN is the Security Council. It's in charge of maintaining peace and security between nations. The Council has 15 members, 5 of which are permanent, and the remaining 10 members are elected for 2-year terms. Even though the UN is the most important organization working for world peace today, it also receives criticism for its shortcomings in the face of modern-day conflicts. Many argue that the organization needs to change to remain important in the future. The UN General Secretary has called for major reforms of the organization. Several member states have supported change to maintain world peace in years to come. No matter how you look at it, the UN is one of the most important meeting points in the world, as well as an arena for international cooperation. Even though the UN isn't perfect, it is the best we've got, and all nations must work together to take care of our world.
All right, the recording has started. Good morning, everyone. So for those of you who came into the meeting a bit later, my name is Linda Reus, and I'm on the participant engagement team of the UN Global Compact.
Oh, I'm so sorry for this. Okay, and I also want to share the second video.
The International Court of Justice is based at the Peace Palace in The Hague, in the Netherlands. The court is one of the 6 principal organs of the UN. It's the principal judicial organ of the UN and the only principal organ which does not have its seat in New York. The court has existed since 1946. Its 2 official languages are French and English. Its statute, that is to say the founding document of the International Court of Justice, is an integral part of the Charter of the United Nations. All UN member states therefore automatically recognize the existence of the court and can call on its services. The judgments and opinions delivered by the court often have a direct impact on the everyday lives of millions of individuals. On very many occasions and in all continents, the court has helped to diffuse crises, to normalize relations between states, and to reactivate deadlocked negotiations through the settlement of disputes by judicial means.
Okay, sorry for the noises. Okay, and these are the resources I used to create this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you so much.